Great day to talk hockey with Grant McCagg on Habscast.
I should say so. We're going to crack one for that one. Just as we all predicted, the Montreal Canadiens defeat the Carolina Hurricanes 6-2.
Yeah.
They set a record.
Hope you had 6-2 games.
The fastest 4 goals on the road that the Habs have ever scored. Guy, Steve, Yvan, Jacques couldn't do it. Maurice, Boom Boom, and company couldn't do it. Jean, Henri, Yvan couldn't do it. But this team could. Liam, were you a little shocked by that first period, my friend?
Yeah, well, especially after we gave up our usual, 33 seconds in, down 1-0. They may as well put 1-0 up on the scoreboard before they start the game. I mean, it's getting sickening, but to come right back and Cole to snipe especially, and then Craig Simpson, love him or don't love him, he made a good point there, I think, in the second period when he talked about Carolina really missing reads, and that was really evident in that first period. We really, as it turns out, pretty much won the game in the first period. But I think they showed their 11 days. I really think they did, and that was the first part for me. And then the second part was we could have had 8 goals in that first period. Like, holy lifting, the chances that were missed. Evan's going to have nightmares about missing that tap in, let alone 2 or 3 others.
I know. What a pass.
And then the second part for me was when they pushed back and got that second one, and they alluded to it as well. We bent, but we didn't break. And Slav's goal, massive. I love that he got the empty netter after he screwed up in Tampa. And, it's just, did not expect 8 goals, obviously. Did not expect a 6-2 Montreal win. And thankful for it. Guaranteed minimal split. It's all the good things you want. And very, very happy.
Yeah. That was a huge play by Slav. Like seconds after Seth Jarvis's goal, that beautiful, pass that he made to Caulfield behind the net, I think was crucial. It was crucial that they get one back quickly, and I always love when the Habs score before the PA announcers even had a chance to announce the other goal. It quiets it. That building went from pure bedlam to kind of, and then the Habs just kept rolling. Best period of hockey this season by the Habs, Rick? Do you think?
I can't think of one where they were better, Grant. We often talk about fatigue, and we always worry about physical fatigue, but mental fatigue is something that's there too. And tonight, the mental game of the Habs was phenomenal. The subtle plays they did, Slavs, that wonderful pass to Caulfield, he was so aware. But even that goal by Danault, Grant, and Liam, Carrier draws 2 guys to him, bangs it off the board. Anderson just turns around and just neutralizes his opponent to give Danault that pat to the net. It was just like a perfect example of how smart they played tonight. And we could talk about, I wouldn't even touch about the defensive game yet, and we will, I'm sure, but the intelligence the Habs showed was phenomenal tonight. I was really, really impressed. What a game.
The Canadiens veteran core has stepped up so large in the playoffs, like Evans, Anderson, Danault, Matheson, Carrier. Every one of them has just elevated their game to a level that we didn't see all season long. And it's just, just a reminder of how important it is to have a sprinkling, at the very least, on this youngest team in the playoffs. A sprinkling of key veterans, right, Liam?
For sure. You absolutely need them, no matter where you are in your development, your growth, your rebuild, or you're top of the chart, or you're the bottom trying to get out of the bottom and work your way up. You have to have some vets leading the way. And, man, I'll tell you, the structure of this team is something that I lamented definitely in seasons past here as this rebuild's gone on, and they've moved along here, and you're really wondering about Marty's influence, and they touched on it as well again tonight on the breakout. I have never seen a Montreal Canadian team reverse the puck as often as this one. The passes back to just you know how crucial and critical they are to eliminate immediate danger. And they know that option is there. They know it should be there, and it's there 99% of the time. And tonight, the other thing, the little one-touch passes in the neutral zone. You've got the outlet coming out to whomever, and boom, one touch, and you got a guy, he's flying. And that's another thing I haven't seen with any continuity, but it's the reverses, out of danger, finding guys on the outlets that need to get out. It's just such an easier way to play the game. And I know we took advantage of a team tonight, 11 days off, but damn, man, we played well too at all sorts of junctures of this game, and that was great to see.
Yeah. Just saw a maroon $50 from Donnie Matasco. Love this control of a game. Go Habs, go. Puck possession. Grant Montreal Trip Fund. Yeah, I think I'm gonna go down game 5 to Cunningham's Pub. I really do. If there is a game 5, we'll see. Habs crushing hopes and dreams since 1909. Go Habs, go. Thanks, Mark.
Very kind of both of you.
Absolutely. These guys are always pitching in. They're great. Thank you so much. But when they sprung Caulfield on that breakaway, hits the post, comes back, and then they come down, of course, and score. There was a little bit of doubt at that point, saying, gee, got the crowd going, and you thought maybe Carolina, the Carolina that we saw in the first 2 rounds is going to come out here. But they righted the ship. Dobie, solid the rest of the way. This team, if there's one word I think that describes them, and we've heard it a few times, but once again we saw it tonight, they are resilient. Rick.
Yeah, I mean, it's like every time Carolina had an answer, Montreal had an answer right back at them. And it could have been easy to right when the game started, they let in that goal. Montreal just, 2-man covered, got out of position a little bit. It happens. Things go fast a little bit. They settle down. And when Carolina tries to put pressure on them, they just stay calm. Liam, you mentioned it right before, right? Where they were moving the puck properly and everything, and we've heard that so much by coaches. When you're in trouble in your own zone, just get rid of the puck and bang it off the boards. But that could also lead to a bad breakout and loss of possession at the right spot. How many times did Montreal just take that extra second to calm down, find the right outlet, move it safely, and they got the puck out of their zone without any problems? And you do that when you're, Grant, as you said, you're resilient. You don't let things get to you. You just stay calm, stay on the task at hand, and that's what they did all night tonight. Again, phenomenal game by the Habs.
Yeah. You want to expand on that, Liam?
No. Well, I mean, Rick said it, man. It's really hard to, until he scored. I thought Slav had a few tough shits. I thought Doc was having a tough game, but there was just so many things done well down low. Like, we just are making plays that we keep, harping on the fact we're the youngest team in the playoffs and second youngest and blah, blah, blah. They're not playing like it. Like they're playing like they're established and they know their way around a playoff rink. And, this is old hat. Game 1 of the semifinals. When's the bus? Like, it's incredible to watch it. Now, we talked in the pregame, the anticipation, we're waiting. What are we going to see? The Habs coming off the emotion of an overtime winning game 7, on the road, back-to-back Game 7s. Carolina, the Beasts, undefeated, 11-day layoff. What are they going to look like and everything else? Now the game's over, and we're going, Jesus, holy God, Montreal look great. Like, so now how's Game 2? What's Carolina's push going to look like? You know, Game 2, they can't lose 2 at home. That would be disastrous. So the best they've got, you got to know you're going to see it Saturday night. And it just leads all more to the anticipation level. And to what Rick said, I mean, it was many, many, many elements of tonight were textbook. Did they even have a shot on net in the third period, Carolina? I don't think they did.
I don't think they did. No, it was.
They gave them one, and before the broadcast broke, Cuthbert said they took the shot away.
Yeah, funny how you know, when it happens to the Canadiens, they mention it 4,682 times. It happens to Carolina, and they mentioned it in passing once. I think
haters gonna hate, you know. What
you know,
no, they're all pissed off the Leafs aren't there.
Just, you know, it's funny. Haters gonna hate. Okay, I'm just looking at the box score here. They've got them down for 2 shots on goal. So they found some. They must have got something at I remember, near the end there, Liam, like the last minute. But the first 19 minutes, they did not have a shot on goal.
Yeah.
And when you're trailing in the third period, right? Like at least the period that the Habs didn't get the shots, it's not like they were behind 2 goals or something like that, right? They ended up winning the friggin' game. So anyway, 2 whole shots on goal. Now, you know, I texted you in the first about holy frig, this team, how great they're looking, and you mentioned in the second, Liam, you know, that looked, the real Hurricanes came out in the second period. Hopefully, that was the real Hurricanes in the third too. So,
yeah,
I don't, you know, like the real Slim Shady, right? Well, the real Hurricanes, please stand up. Like, come on now, what's going on? Are we, you know, I don't know what to expect the next game, Liam and Rick. I don't know. Montreal they could do it again. You just don't know with this Habs team. You know, all you seem to know is that they're not going to get swamped. Like, have they been like one game all playoffs so far? That Game 6 in Montreal, they're now 7-2 on the road. There haven't been many Habs teams that went 7-2 to start the playoffs on the road. Like that's phenomenal, Rick.
I can't believe that. I didn't even pay attention or notice that Carolina took like 2 shots only in the third, to be very honest with you guys, because they were in the Habs zone a good amount of time. Yeah. That's how good Montreal's defense was. They were giving Carolina nothing, even though they were in the zone. Another surprising stat. The thing too with the way the defense plays is that, you know, again, you know, Marty St. Louis, and this is the part where I'm going to give him a little bit of credit here. He switches his lineups, he switches his pairings, even after a win. You talked about that, Grant, right? Like the great coaches do that. They don't fall to the trap of always going with the same roster just because they won. He saw a different team in Carolina than Buffalo is and than Tampa Bay is. Boom. We're going to make some changes. Kapanen got a few more minutes. Struble played a good amount of minutes, I think, tonight. I don't think
he did.
He played more than 3 minutes, that's for sure.
I played over 12.
So everybody has to be ready, and everybody is contributing. Just fantastic for the Habs, and everyone played. Again, I can't think of anybody who didn't play well. Let's say Texier. I felt Texier was battling for the puck and just taking a big hit to make a play a few times, and he was rewarded with a goal. But in the third, he really played hard. It's good to see.
Yeah, I think the veteran, power horse is rubbing off on him. Like Texier looks at, says, geez, I'm the same height as him. Maybe I should play more like him.
Maybe.
Well, it's rubbing off. I'm serious. I'm only half joking here, but 14 minutes for Struble.
Wow.
Cappy got 9, and was fairly solid. But what I like there is nobody got an outrageous amount of ice time here, right? Like
Right.
Dobson 22:35, Hudson 22:36. They led the way. No player got 23 minutes in ice time. I like that. And even Suzuki, 18 minutes instead of like the 23 he's been getting, right? He he put his faith in Cappy being able to play more than past the first period. It helped that they had a lead, you know, helped that they had a 2 to 3 goal lead most of the game. But looking at those stats, it's pretty impressive that he really spread the ice time around. And as said in the pregame, you want to start out. I think you want to play all 20 guys, right? You want to play every guy, um, all 18 guys, a fair amount of ice time at the start of a series, and it paid off. And I think you'll see the same lineup next game. Would you expect they'll kind of hard to switch it up, Liam? I think for the next one.
Yeah, I would be surprised. I'd say at this point. Also, you can give guys ice when you got the lead. You have the ability to roll lines a little bit more and roll that 6D out there, and so everything that was favorable that way. And nobody. Yeah, I mean the guys that came in, Struble and Kapanen. Well, Kapanen played, but Strube's coming in for Arbor. I don't. I thought what I could see anyway. I think he just had one bad shift, that I saw. Otherwise, he looked pretty solid. Everybody did really, a couple of small things, and you're going to get that in 60 minutes. The rest of it was, oh my God, dream start to the game. Obviously, dream first period and dream first game. I mean, you couldn't really draw up a lot of it any better. So much scoring, so many guys getting on the board. So many things. Rick, you've mentioned it now a couple times here, and you're right. We should not pass along here too far without talking about the defensive structure of the Habs tonight. That was really, really impressive against a dangerous team, not only in transition, but on the forecheck and their depth. And yes, they get off there for their number one line, scores 33 seconds in. You got Stankoven's line, who was lit it up for 8 games. And you're stifling everybody. It's impressive. That's an impressive start. Yeah. Just really right across the board.
I think Freddie Anderson has an 8-game playoff warranty, and after that, the warranty's expired. And I think we saw that tonight. Kyprios thinks the Canes should go with Bussy. Hopefully, he's wrong as usual. Yeah, well, Habs scored 7 on Bussy. First game. First game that they faced him, so they don't care who they put in there. Bring them on. If they play like they did in the first period, breakaway after breakaway, like what?
Oh, Jesus!
What happened to this Carolina structure? That
could have scored 8. Literally could have scored 6, 7, 8 goals easily in that first period.
The Flying Frenchmen were back in town there. Fire Wagon Hockey was back in town. It was incredible. But yeah, interesting that they're already throwing Freddie under the bussy, you could say there, Rick.
It's a good one, Grant.
It's funny because Bussy, in a sense, is a little bit like Lyon was for Buffalo, right? He's mostly an American Hockey League goaltender. They got really hot. I think he got himself a new contract with Carolina, and right after he got that new contract, he went right into a slump. Yeah. And that's why Anderson is in nets, right? Yeah. So you could put Bussy, but I don't know if he's know if he's a very good NHL goaltender. Historically, he's not. And as for the offense, I took jiu-jitsu for a few years, and I was not very good at it, mind you, but often they say to use your opponent's strength against them, and by positioning yourself well and taking advantage of it. And it feels that's what Montreal did. They used Carolina's maybe over exuberant energy after being laid off for so long that they were just attacking, and Montreal were being patient and just quick transition while everybody's down into the ice. And that's why they were getting so many odd man rushes in the first period. I think that Carolina was just not thinking; they were just attacking the whole time. And boy, like I said, they could have had 7 or 8 goals because Carolina was always out of position in the first period.
Yeah. Well, we've got a new segment here, folks. And Rick, I'm springing this on you out of the blue. I did give Liam a bit of a heads up, but it's the Cunningham's Pub 3 stars of the game.
All right.
Cunningham's Pub, 75 St. Anne Street in St. Anne de Bellevue, folks. Best chicken wings voted many times in Montreal, in the entire city, Cunningham's Pub. And they've been so gracious as to sponsor our 3 stars of the game. So, Liam, we'll start with you. Who would be your 3rd star, 2nd star, 1st star from the Habs tonight?
I got Suzuki 3rd star. I got Goulet 2nd star, and I got Danault 1st star. Those are my 3. Danault's game was absolutely exceptional. 10 out of 10. When he's scoring, it's such a bonus. You know what you're getting from him. I know he didn't have his greatest game on the dot, and their numbers were just marginally down from where they've been in the playoffs here. But you had a very determined Carolina team there fighting for every inch of ice, especially in that second period, and they kind of controlled the dots there. But I thought Danault's game was just exceptional tonight. Goulet, it's funny, we talked about him in the pregame. Grant, you really went off on talking about how great he's been, and maybe tonight I watched him a little bit, even maybe a little more closely than normal, although I feel I watch every inch of every game close. But I just thought his game was, and this sort of slides into Rick's comment a little bit about the defensive structure in Montreal, and I felt Goulet tonight was right there. And Nick was Captain Nick. I mean, you saw it at both ends of the ice. You saw why he's going to win the Selke. I mean, he comes back so deep. He makes so many plays. It's his positioning as much as anything. Like he's almost always on the right side of the puck. That, it's one of the things that used to drive me crazy about Pacioretty. He's such a natural goal scorer, not like a pure Mike Bossy or Lafleur type, but he was right there, right? He could snipe, he could score. But I found a lot of times he was on the wrong side of the puck at critical times and whatnot. You just don't see that with Nick. And I thought he had an exceptional game. He contributed offensively as well. And those are the 3 I picked.
Great choices. Rick, since we sprung this on you just now, how about I go second and give you a little more time to contemplate it, okay?
All right.
I got Alex Carrier as the 3rd star tonight. He's been so solid all playoff. I was one of his harshest critics going in, and it's hard just to pick 3, by the way, because those are great choices. I agree with all 3, Liam, and but Carrier was +4 tonight. 4 block shots, just solid on the PK again. He's really, going in. I was one that said I don't think they can win multiple rounds with Carrier playing and Reinbacher sitting, and I was wrong. He has been outstanding for the most part in the playoffs. And once again tonight, he's my 3rd star. 2nd star, I have to go with Slav. As you said there, Liam, there were a couple more of those. But as the game went on, the 2 critical points in the game, getting that beautiful assist to Cole, and then that was a sweet goal that he scored, that 5th goal, which was that put them away officially, right? But the toe drag and the snipe, and then finally getting an empty net goal that when he's not just the last time, Liam, but there's been 10 times this year, that he has had, and he made damn sure that it was going in this time, that he freaking deked around the guy, wasn't going to get the stick in front of it, put it in the net. Second star, Slav. First star, same as you, Liam. Friggin' Phil Deneau, man. Unbelievable game from him. Just if you look at the stat line, a goal and an assist, right? 2 shots on net, 3 hits, 4 block shots, 53% on the faceoffs, just right across the board. You know, um, Nick is Nick. Nick has the most points of any forward on the Habs. Any Habs forward in the last 2 years. Nick has the most points. You know who's second? Phil Deneau.
Phil Deneau.
Phil Deneau has 16 points now in the last 2 playoff years. He had 8 last year in the first round for LA, and he has 8 this year. I tell you what. I put a post on. Like I said, I said in the first period on a post on Blue Sky, I said, can we get our second rounder back for Deneau? Question mark, bum. And I may have been a little sarcastic there.
Yeah. That was a great one. I was big, by the way, of just joking around when I say Slav. I kind of assumed that you were going for Dano on that one. Listen, to me, I'm gonna just say I could have given the third star of the game to Goulet or Carrier because they deserved it. I'm going to go with a third guy who I thought had a really understated, really good game, and I'm happy to see it because obviously he's very important to the Habs. But I thought Dobson was really good tonight, played really well defensively, and I liked the way he got the puck out of his zone. He was playing more of a typical Dobson game, a little bit quiet, but not a lot of danger happened around him, I found, and that says something about how smart he played. And he had with Matheson, I think he had the most amount of shifts tonight, 28. So the fact that he was on the ice for so many shifts and nothing happened when he was on, I think says something about him. And again, I could have probably given it to Carrier or Suzuki, but I wanted to give a little bit of respect to Dobson tonight. That was important. Number 2, I'm not going to put any surprises here. Slav is back is what I tweeted today because that's what it looked like. It looked like the guy we've seen at the end of this year and taking over the game and using his strength and reach and size to make things happen with those really lovely hands and vision. He was great. And Dano, what can you say about Dano? I mean, elite defensive abilities. He augments the intensity of his game when it matters. You're watching a guy that has a very, very high IQ without the puck, and he's using that ability to create offense and willing himself to take over, to charge this team up. So those are my personal picks for the 3 stars of the game.
Yeah, well, only one of us picked Suzuki, and he had 3 points. So that tells you how many different. Yeah. And you know what? I thought, who I thought you were going to say? I thought you were going to say Matheson. Because you could say Matheson too. Like Lane may have been the 4th best defenseman tonight. That doesn't happen very often, and yet he was good. Kudos to the defense. It really is the strength of this team, that defense core. I think it kind of starts there. When they have good game, the Habs majority of the time win, as long as Monty's not in nets letting in the first 2 shots. But we got lots of comments coming in. Good, a good crowd, 115 on board here. I like that. Thank you, everybody. Keep bringing in the comments, and Liam going to stick around another 5 minutes or so. I think, Liam, is that about right?
I can go another 10. I can go another 20 good. If you give me 30 seconds to run and grab another beer.
No, you can't. Go get a beer, my friend. Grab her.
I will. I got finish this one. I'll go grab another one. I'll hang around for a while. Okay.
Okay. Good stuff. Dobish making that save on the breakaway broke them, I think. Yeah. Well.
Yeah, that's part of it.
Don't be 7-2 on the road in the playoffs. You gotta love it. This team was not supposed to be ready yet. Continues to show everyone they are indeed. Yeah, it's funny talking to Rob Hudson in the off season, and he's saying, "No, the Habs are 4 years away from being a contender." And I honestly, I mean, I'm always a friggin' optimist when it comes to the Habs. Always been. I mean, even when they were terrible, I think I picked them to make the playoffs. But um, I really didn't think it would be that long before they could contend in the East. I just saw the shift. You can only go so many years not rebuilding your young talent, and Tampa and Boston and Toronto. All of those teams, just too many years trading away high picks. You can only do that for so long, and then your window closes. And then the teams that are bringing in the young talent and then getting top 5 picks, that never hurts, and then
Yeah.
turning out and then getting a Lane Hudson who should have been first overall, the way things have turned out. It's just, I'm not surprised that they are already contending. I'm really not, and I'm just glad that it's this year because it's only going to help in the future, the experience that they're getting this year, regardless of what happens the rest of the way, Rick.
Yeah, yeah, well said. I mean, this is a team that is, as you said, so ridiculously young. They are. There is some runway ahead of them to get better. For almost like 3/4 of the team, I think, could get better, and not just any player that could be better, but these are the guys that could lead them. Suzuki is probably in his prime right now. Caulfield is in his prime, but Slav could get better. Dobson could probably get a little better even as he gains experience. Goulet could get better. Lord
Oh, he
knows
will.
Demidov can get a heck of a lot better. Hudson could get better. I mean, so many guys that are leading this team that are going to be around for years have not even hit their peak yet. That is the most exciting part. Now they're getting the experience. This run is going to be wonderful. Look what that short run did last year for this year. Now imagine what this year's run will do for the coming years. Boy, I don't know. I mean, I'm a young lad, and I don't know if I've ever been so optimistic about the Habs' future as I am right now.
Yeah, for sure. More Kenny Pedro, more goals in one game compared to the Canes' first 2 series in 4 games. That has to be a shock to their fans. Yeah,
Yeah.
well, you're playing a real team now, Caniacs. Get used to it, Liam?
Well, I hope so. Dream start, man. Dream start. You bank a win. You got a minimal split, and you're in the driver's seat to try and do something really special. How's our Vegas tomorrow night? It's this is what it's all about, man. And you get a chance to make some noise here in a series by winning that first one on the road. And Montreal did it. It's not just they did it; they did it in the fashion that they did it. There's just so many elements. God, we all pick stars. We've got, 3, how many different players? I mean, it's true. You could pick 6 stars tonight or 8. I mean, it was a unified effort. And when they pushed, we bent, but we didn't break. Yeah. And then Slav came through with that big one. And the defense was such a great structure. So many elements of the game tonight that were so excellently played. And I tell you, I we've been saying this most of the year, almost all the year, probably, Grant, through Habscast and everybody that's played a role in Habscast all year, as we've watched Montreal, for the most part, hang right in that Atlantic division, right? They just hung right in there, kept winning games, and everybody was winning games, and Montreal could have had another losing streak or something, slid right back down and didn't. And when push came to shove and it got a little tense there at one point, they rattled off 8 in a row or something. So it was, this team is, you want to try and take the bias out of it, as we all are so biased. But could we be seeing and have seen the genesis, the embryonic stage of something really special? Is this something potentially that could be really special? Getting a little ahead of ourselves, obviously, but it's just been such a mercurial run, really, for 5 years, if you think about it. And now we're being rewarded with the fruits of the labor of that, with what's gone on here in this playoff run.
Well said, Liam. It's I really think that they just it's just the tip of the iceberg here. Did you watch the game last night? I'm presuming the Colorado. Of course, they didn't have Maguire, right? But they look pretty ordinary.
Mark Stone, it's pretty big nut to miss.
No, that's right. Like I'm not afraid. Whoever
Vegas
comes
out of last night, they were quicker.
Yeah, they were. But whoever wins the East dominated the West this year. They dominated them, and whoever comes out of the East, like if it's Montreal, they can hang. They can hang with either of those teams. Yep. I'm sure of it, and they're serious cup contenders. And I haven't said that yet, but at this point, it's just I can see it. Like it's there, and it's just at this point. Like I got thinking, man, it's going to be so disappointing now if they don't win, because it's just, it's there. It's there. 9 wins, and to come into Carolina, a team that had not lost in the playoffs, and just 6-2, bitch slapped them at home in the first game. This team is for real, and we could, this might be the cup run that. Us three have been waiting for a long 33 years. So, Rick, do you think that the Habs can win the cup?
It's not out of the realm of possibility at all. I mean, listen, this was not a team that sneaked into the playoffs. This team finished with 106 points, one of the better teams in the league in terms of points. So, this is not a sport that. This is a sport that has 84 games. I mean, you have to. 82 right now, but 84 soon. You have to be good for a long time. It's not a fluke at this point. It's not a short run. It's not like they played well for 25 last games of the year and now they're in the playoffs and they're causing damage after being terrible for most of the year. They were not. And when they were losing at the start of the year, it was mostly the goaltending that was hurting them. It was not like the whole team was not playing well. So they're showing that there's something being built here. And as for the West, that was a great point you bring, Grant, because I remember us having this talk at the start of the year, and I said, I'm not sold 100% on Colorado. I know they had a phenomenal year, but I said, this is not an organization that has great depth. They also traded a bunch of first-round picks for years and years and years. They paid for their top talent like they deserve to be paid, but there's not a lot of depth. If one of their main guys gets injured, they're in trouble. And now we're seeing one guy goes down. Now Colorado's looking very, very fragile compared to what we saw earlier in the year. And, as for Vegas, they're a very good team, very deep. But again, they're not, they had a lot of points in a much weaker conference. Montreal had a hell of a lot of points in a much better conference. Yeah. So, boy, it's not out of the realm of possibility that Montreal is a true contender now.
The Habs were in the toughest division in the league this year, the deepest. They had Montembeault starting for majority of the first half of the year. They had a key defenseman in Gouli out for most of the first half, Newhook and Doc, and they stayed top 3 within just a handful of points or in first place in the conference all season long through that whole. And now they're healthy. Now they've got stable goaltending. So really, Liam, it shouldn't be a big surprise that they are legitimate contenders to win the cup at this point.
I think it's a fair statement. I agree with both of you. I think, you both stated it there, and I agree with it because, Colorado, were on pace at one point there to beat Boston's regular season record, and like 30 games in, they were on pace to break, have less than 8 losses, which Montreal holds for minimum 70 games played from 1977. And thought, oh my God, like this is crazy. And it's be interesting to see how it goes. Of course, they came back to earth a little bit, but still finished the job. And here they are in the third round. Now they're down 1. Of course, Cale Makar is such a massive part of that team. And they looked, they were the second best team last night. There's no question about it. But you look at it, they showed it on the broadcast. Caden Goulet saying, we're not afraid of anybody. That mentality is running through that dressing room. It runs from the coach right through. Marty likes to say it too when he's questioned about the greatness of other teams. He always likes to say, we're great too. We have a great team too. We have a very good team too. And so, yeah, it's we'll be having a discussion here in 48 hours or 96 hours after games 2 and 3 and 4, and more than likely a Carolina win mixed in there somehow. And we'll be saying, geez, look at what went wrong tonight because I know that's what up and down with Tampa and Buffalo was unfreaking believable. I've never seen it. Win one, lose one, win one, lose one. I've never seen that. And you carry that over the second 2-game streak now, if you include game 7, but technically in the series, we only had games 2 and 3 in Buffalo. Otherwise, everything else was alternated. So, as great as this was tonight, it now brings up, how are we going to look on Saturday night when their backs are moved a foot from the wall? Not against it for sure, but they've moved a lot closer. Tonight, you have put in the doubt. Another win, you're going to put in some fear. And that's where this thing's going, when you win the first one on the road and you do it in the manner with which they did. Because with 4-2, all bets are off, really. And we saw that in game 7 against Buffalo, 2-goal lead. But Slav's goal and shutting it down, Rick, you touched on it earlier, the defensive structure of this team throughout most of this game deserves a ton of credit. That's on the coaching and the boys adapting to it and playing under it. Yeah, Montreal, they could win the Stanley Cup. Are you kidding me? I didn't even just say that.
Go get your beer, Liam. You've heard it.
47 years ago tonight, they won the Cup, and I was in the building. The Montreal Forum, they beat the New York Rangers. My last night as a teenager, and they won the Stanley Cup in the Forum, and I was there, and I watched them carry Bob Gainey off on their shoulders, and he won the Conn Smythe Trophy. I told you guys the story. I had a golf shirt made up, said Club de Hockey Canadien, and it looked 100% official. And I got by every bit of security after that game. I dragged my buddies with me, Kevin Jardine, Tom Bissonnette, and Greg Meredith. And we walked down there. We specifically, mostly, stayed sober during that game. We knew Montreal was going to win. So we only had a few beers because we were going in the room.
Really?
Larry Robinson had told me, said, Liam, you get in the room. You're going to drink 3 for a week. And I said, Larry, I'll get in that room. And we got in. We got right in the front of the Forum dressing room, May 21st, 1979. And then I could see Larry. He already had his shirt off. They were dumping champagne on him. He hadn't seen me yet. There's 50 people that's going crazy in there. All of a sudden, whoosh, we get pushed back against the wall. All these security guys coming in, earphones on. They're built like brick shit houses. We get pushed back against the wall. In comes Pierre Trudeau, Prime Minister of Canada, with all the security. And we got pushed out
Heard of him.
into the hallway, and we never got back in. We couldn't get back in. Somebody ratted us out and realized that my shirt wasn't given to me by Claude Mouton.
maybe
we got kicked out, and
maybe it was Trudeau.
Back in the room.
Maybe it was Trudeau.
That was 47 years ago tonight.
Maybe it was Trudeau that ratted you out there, Liam. Did you ever think of that? He wanted to get in.
Son hardly talked to me when I brought Paul Henderson into Parliament Hill. Jeez. I was going to have this big conversation with him. Your dad kind of screwed me over in 1979, but he didn't really give me much of the time of the day. But he was pretty happy to see Paul Henderson, so I figured, well, we'll call that one a wash. I'll go get my beer.
Okay. Well, by the way, folks, and that was Liam's last day as a teenager, he was telling us, was that night. And it was, so if you do the math, guess what tomorrow is, Rick?
My math is not the best, but I think it's someone's birthday tomorrow, is it?
Yeah, it is. So have a pint with Liam.
Yes,
Wish
sir.
him, here's to Liam's turning. What's your favorite junior team, Liam? What's their nickname?
Yeah.
Hey?
The Ottawa 67.
The 67s.
What does this even mean anyway?
I don't know. 67.
Everybody does it. I have no idea.
Yeah.
Somebody online here help an old fella out.
You have to watch the South Park episode where they talk about 6-7. It's pretty good. It's a classic.
Awesome.
Yeah. It doesn't clarify it anymore, but happy birthday, Liam.
Happy birthday, my friend.
Yeah.
I got another 28 minutes as a 66-year-old.
There you go. Yeah. Liam Trudeau was probably not that interesting to talk to anyways. You probably didn't miss much. Yeah. Well, you should have pirouetted into the room there, out of the way. Liam.
Yeah.
Then you would have.
I should have said huddle or something, or
said fuddy duddy,
or done a bunch of the things. But my God, the plan worked for absolute perfection, and then we just got pushed out. But man, being in the building watching the Habs win the Cup, and us the three of us having this conversation right now, which I don't think really is grossly out of place. It really isn't. We had to won in overtime tonight, or we had to come back and scored a couple late, or whatever. But it's just we're standing there pushing the second. Slav's goal, winning, taking it 6-2, game one. It's a hell of a start. Long way to go, but what a start.
Yeah.
Yes, I met Eddie Palchek. I met Eddie Palchek multiple times, and that guy,
legend,
absolute legend. I believe he had 10 Stanley Cup rings as a trainer.
Yeah.
And we used to when I started getting into practices, we'd have lunch with Eddie. We'd go to the Texan. I watched Rick Chartraw eat the biggest plate of spaghetti I have ever seen any man consume in my life. I know he's a big guy, but this is the day of a game. And it was unfreaking believable. And Mario Tremblay could put the food back too, but man, Eddie Palchek was very, very kind to teenage kids that were coming down from Montreal and getting in practices, because the RCMP officer was an uncle to one of my friends at high school, and he could get us into some practices in the mid-70s there, 76, 77, 78 in particular. And Scotty wouldn't run the practices. Claude Ruel would run the practices. Scotty'd be up in the stands. Yep. And Ruel's out there. And at the end of the practice, the Black Aces, man, Claude would skate the crap out of Butch Bouchard and Gilles Lupien, sometimes Chartraw, whatever. These guys would skate another 2-3 miles. Stops and starts and turns and one-timers shooting pucks. They're just amazing.
I'd say to the defenseman, each pair take a man. That was one of Dick used to like to say that. Yeah. Dickie Irvin used to have some great stories that he'd tell on his especially in intermissions, Liam. Well, you used to get to. I used to hear you on the radio, some intermissions there.
Yeah, man, I must have worked 100 Habs games with Dick. On radio from 83 till about 91 or 92 when he stopped doing the TV show Hockey Magazine, which I was on 14 times. My involvement, and then definitely when they went to the Bell Center, I didn't do too many more with him after that. But I think some of the broadcast was changing as well, and different.
TV was kind of coming on then, and like back in the real heyday when there weren't many games on TV, before TSN and Sportsnet and the Score and all that, there was. We used to have to watch him on the Parliamentary channel. Remember, hey, the Edmonton, Calgary series. Tune into the Parliamentary channel to get the to get the games. And,
so good, man. I'll tell you. Even I don't speak French, but I can understand it a little bit. And René Lecavalier and Gilles Tremblay has frequent in our house as Danny and Dick, because my late mother was a French Canadian, and so we quite often would have French radio on, French TV on, French music on, and
Channel 9,
absolutely. Grant, you know it, buddy, in Ottawa, yeah. Channel 9, and then of course we all know what came on at midnight.
Bleu Nuit.
Yeah. Put your hands together.
Liam, I gotta ask quickly, did Rick Chartra have his spaghetti you're saying at the Texan? Is that where he had this big bowl of spaghetti?
Yeah.
I have a nightmare story quickly I have to say about having spaghetti at the Texan.
Tell it, please.
I was gonna say spaghetti. He had more than spaghetti. Anyway, go ahead, spaghetti.
So I have a friend of mine from my old neighborhood, Italian neighborhood in St. Leonard. We go to the Texan to have a bite to eat, and two guys walk in, and my friend knows them. He's like, "Come and sit with us." So they sit down, and around 5 minutes into the conversation, I realized these two men are prominent members of a well-known Italian family. I'll leave it at that, right?
Yeah.
And he ordered pasta, and he starts complaining about the pasta. He goes, "This is not good pasta." And I've had a few drinks. I go, "Well, why the hell would you order pasta at a steakhouse? That makes no sense." And he gave me a dirty look, and I thought, "Oh no, my life is going to end in just a few minutes." And he just looks at me and he goes, "That's a good one, buddy."
And then
they serve you a horse head.
And then you enrolled in the jiu-jitsu class the next night.
Oh, no, that was a few years later. I just walked out of there shaking.
Yeah.
That's good. Okay. That's great, Rick.
Well, okay. I thought you were going to say it was Rick Chartraw that, and he ordered a big plate.
I would be scared of Rick Chartraw, but these guys made me just a little bit more nervous than Rick Chartraw.
No doubt.
Yeah. And when you said, all of a sudden you were up against the wall, I thought, here's a Gilles Lupien story. Because I have a good one too. Gilles had mitts on him, huge, and at the Hull Arena, the Bob one day, I guess I was in his way. He wanted to get around me, and he just grabbed me like a sack of potatoes and moved me out of the way, like that. And I mean, I'm not a little guy, Liam. Well, you both have seen that, but I just felt like a sack of potatoes. Or said, "Oh, okay." Now I can see why he, when he got a hold of you in a scrap, he may not have been a great scrapper, but I wouldn't have wanted to wrestle with him, like almost in the Chera kind of category when it came to that. Liam, you got any Lupien or Chartraw stories back in the day? Or?
Well, I told I remember I met Gilles Lupien for the first time in 77, and the next day I was caddying for Eddie Westfall. You guys remember Eddie?
Of course.
He had gone to the New York Islanders. He had
Islanders, Bruins.
Yeah, tremendous career with the Bruins. Excellent penalty killer. Sanderson and Westfall, they were outstanding on those cup wins and in that run that Boston had at that time. And then he ends up going to to the Islanders. He was such a nice man. And I told Eddie because Denny Potme was helping run this golf tournament. It was in the Eastern Townships of Ottawa, 1977. And I told Eddie Westfall that I was with Joe Luque the day before, and he went, "That big goof." Well, that's not really a nice thing to say, but he said, he was being pretty critical of him, and at the time I was 17, turning 18. I turned 18 May 22nd, obviously, and this was right just 3 or 4 days before my birthday. And I remember talking to Eddie, and I said, our family's going to pick up a dog next week. We're getting a new dog next week. I'm going to call it Jill after Luke came. And he got pretty pissed off. He thought I was hammering him back because he was hammering Luke. So that's all I got for that. It was kind of an interesting exchange with Eddie Westfall just a mere 59 years ago. 49 years ago.
Well, speaking of French commentators, you could have been named them after Gilles Tremblay, of course, who for many years was an analyst on those French CBC La Soirée d'Hockey back in the day. Lionel Duval.
Ken's gone to bed. Good night.
Yeah, good night, Kenny. La Soirée d'Hockey was great. Lionel Duval as well as Rene.
Yeah,
Freddie the freeloader. I dubbed him Freddie the freeloader, and he's back, baby. We might see. You know what I want? I want to see Kochetkov before the end of this series. Then you'd really know. Then you really know Carolina's in trouble, right, Ricardo?
Well, they also have Primo in their American Hockey League team. Maybe they call it up too, right?
Revenge of the Preems. Yeah.
No, I mean, I'm happy if they just keep Anderson and Busey and nets. Those are good enough for me. It's never a team that seemed to never find the right goaltender. That could hurt them. They never really found the right guy. They're like a lot of teams based on analytics, right? A lot of analytics people say goaltending is not that important, and that's not where you should spend your money. But it's not important until you need it, and if they don't get it, they're going to be in trouble.
Yeah. There have been people saying, the Carolina crowd's as good as fervent and as good as the Bell Center crowd, right? And as long as they don't get behind 4-1 in the first, and how many were leaving the arena with 6 minutes left there? It was
oh my gosh,
it was quite an exodus. They do have good fans, so I'll give them that. And one of the better crowds in the league, and that's why one of the reasons why I gave Slop second star, because I think it was so important to get that goal right away after Jarvis had scored, because the place was rocking, and I mean it was literally just seconds later, and it went from sheer bedlam to it sounded like a Leaf crowd at that point. And Freddie, the freeloader, was probably thinking, "Oh, deja vu, feeling a deja vu here." Yeah. Go with it, Rick. I don't have anything more to say.
No, I pretty much said everything. The only one thing too, I thought of. It struck me as really being important. And I don't know if you guys have noticed it too, but when we're talking about defensive structure, I found Montreal's stick work tonight to be absolutely phenomenal. They used their sticks so well to block lanes like crazy, and they were just timing it. I can't tell you how often Carolina seemed to take a shot at somebody, just tapped at their stick at the last second, just ruining their opportunities to get a good shot out. Montreal were really fantastic with their stick work tonight.
Their hockey sticks?
Yeah, Montreal, like the way they were blocking lanes. And I didn't know what you were trying to get to there. I was like, did I say something wrong again? No, Montreal were just phenomenal with that. And you could see the frustration going at the end. Jarvis was just taking shots that, like 0% chance of scoring almost. He was just trying anything.
Well,
Yeah, because nothing was working.
because he scored on the first shot of the game, and I thought, geez, all I got to do
Yeah,
is shoot it. Really though, what, Liam, when Jarvis scored that goal, were you thinking, "Fuck, sweep"? Gonna be a sweep.
When Jarvis scored,
Yeah,
I was thinking,
did that thought
I was,
cross your mind?
I was definitely fearful.
Yeah,
I was fearful, man, because we were sitting back. We had 3 shots in the second period. I said, Jesus Murphy, we saw this in Game 7 of Buffalo. Please not again after such an electrifying first period where we took advantage of their sloppy play. And as Simpson alluded to on the broadcast, their misreads and everything else, you got to figure they'll be sharper out of the gate Saturday night. But I was definitely fearful. That's just the fan in me. I'm not looking at it any other way going, oh, no, God. Get out of this period. That's the first thing you want, right? Get out of the period, keep the 2-goal lead, reset, and hopefully, I text my son, Rory, and we go back like crazy. He's teaching up in Rankin Inlet, as I may have mentioned over some of the broadcasts, and he's watching up there, and we're texting during the second intermission. I'm going, we got to have a good first 5 minutes here. And, it's 4-on-4, and who came right through the middle was somebody came right through the middle on Carolina there and had that awesome opportunity there on the 4-on-4 to start the third, missed the net high on the left side there, thank God. And I thought, no, here we go again. But then, as you've mentioned several times, Grant, and you gave him a star for that, plus his other things tonight, and Slav, and just such a massive goal. And the rest is history. So here we are, up one in the semifinals, 7 wins to a Stanley Cup. You kidding? So it's great stuff right now, and let's bring on Saturday and hope for the best.
24 years since the Leafs won this many playoff games, and the Habs are now since the lockout, it's now 69-34. They're up on the Leafs in playoff wins, and
wow,
all those years that they chirped us, because they were regular season dynamos, and
and the parade. They're hurting unit, man. That's for sure. They're going to get McKenna, but
McKenna and Matthews. I don't know. We'll see. Of course, Matthews was a Selkie finalist a couple of years ago, so he's a great defensive center, that's for sure. Okay.
They don't have a ton of draft picks coming up, so McKenna better cover for like 3 of them.
Yeah. Oh,
you see this question, Grant? If Montreal wins the East, do you touch the trophy?
Oh, do I touch the trophy?
For life too. He was on earlier in the pregame. What do you guys do if they win the East?
Well, I mean, I don't know if I'd have to, I have to get that Club de Canadiens shirt and sneak by security to get to touch the trophy. But
what would you do?
Right. If I was a Hab.
Yeah.
No, I was kidding.
I knew what you meant. I knew you were joking.
Yeah. Trudeau, as long as Trudeau's not there. What the hell? Sure. I'm not, superstitions are just that. They're silly. I don't, but the majority of them do it, so they probably won't.
Did we touch it in 2021?
I don't know. I know a couple teams have. Yeah.
When actually it was different. The playoff.
You couldn't touch it.
Yeah.
You couldn't touch it. You might get the COVID.
Yeah. I don't think we did.
All right. Don has gone from chastising us for not thinking that the Habs would make the next round to now saying, settle down, 1 win, relax.
He's not wrong. He's not wrong.
Oh,
it was a great win, though.
We're just bringing up the fact that, believe it or not, the Canadiens might win the cup this year. So anyway, Rick, we are going to bid you adieu.
Yes, sir.
Thank you for the spaghetti house. Actually, it was a steakhouse. Rick will be giving us a spaghetti house story next time, I'm sure. Thanks, my friend, as always. And
Thank you.
It has struck midnight. You know what, Liam? Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Liam Maguire. Happy birthday to you. All right.
Happy birthday, Liam.
Boys. Thank you very much.
Okay, Rick. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, everyone.
Okay, bye, Ricky.
Bye-bye, guys. Later.
Night, Rick.
Yeah. Just you and me, birthday boy. So,
yeah.
How much of your pint you got left? I got a half, but you know what? I planned ahead. I got an extra here, so I can talk to a few more of our comments. I got a bunch starred here. Anything stick out? Anything stick out for you?
Alouette. That's so nice. That's
Jante Alouette.
Yeah, that's really nice though. I just like the sound of that.
What?
I mean, I kind of have a rough idea what it means.
Oh, bon fait, Jante Alouette. Okay. Well, it rhymes.
How many saves did the refs have in the game? Well, the refs called a great game tonight. And as soon as I saw Garrett was in the
I know, eh?
One of the officials, I thought, but no, it was called pretty fairly tonight, and that was nice to see. Officials did not play any role in Montreal's pounding of Carolina tonight, and hopefully the Hurricanes, if you're a Hurricane fan, they can find their game for Game 2 because the mighty Habs took them down tonight.
Leon, that's a good point about Garrett Rank because I posted out 4 refs left in the playoffs, and one of them is Garrett Rank.
I know.
And I thought, oh, here we go, because he hasn't had a great track record against the Habs this year. Maverick. Wishing you a happy birthday.
Maverick is making an appearance.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So, no worries. So, but in fact, you could almost argue that he let a couple of calls go there that some refs have called against the Habs in the playoffs this year. I don't know if he's been reading the press clippings or not, but I think he may have been subconsciously at least thinking, okay, I better behave this time and not call everything against the Habs because I've been getting roasted, but there we go. Good day, Maverick.
Look, Mav.
How much does Maverick weigh now?
He's about 50 pounds.
Oh, okay.
He's not. He looks bigger than he is.
Lots of fluff, eh?
He's got
lots of hair.
He's got the nice hair going, and
he does.
But, he won't. He won't get much bigger.
Okay. Yeah.
Pretty much it, but yeah.
Freddie Anderson was wearing a Leafs jersey tonight. Yeah. Brenda Moore looked like a deer in the headlights, so Hunt was stunned without a clue how to answer the Habs' juggernaut attack. Yeah, it was a good. Brindy, usually he's arguing with the rest, but tonight they didn't call a lot of penalties either, right? They just
no, there wasn't. No,
it wasn't it wasn't very rough or rugged at all, was it? Like they haven't
out-hit us tonight. I'm pretty sure. Like I didn't. What are the stats on the hits, Grant? Because I think they out-hit us.
Habs had 17 hits. Carolina had 42.
Yeah, Jesus. Okay, so
when you got the puck, Liam, it's hard to hit.
You're gonna get hit. Yeah.
That always it's often the team that loses that ends up having the most hits, and there's a reason for that. Dick is a legend. Nobody brought a game to life in the radio like he did.
Yeah. Well said.
He was fantastic, and you know, he doesn't get enough credit for just not only doing the play-by-play, but you know, as the color guy with Danny for so many years, right? Like
Yeah.
how many were, you know, had as long and as great a career doing both. Dick did both just seamlessly, right? Like for years he was on. Well, Danny did, but you know he'd do the color on TV and then do the play-by-play on radio, right?
Yeah.
For quite
Yeah.
quite a few
Color, he's
years.
working for Hockey Night in Canada.
Right.
On TV, on radio, it was a Montreal Canadian employee. working.
Yeah, right. And you know the research that he'd do, he'd have all sorts of tidbits, man.
Yeah.
He was just he was great. The best, you know, one of the best color men by easily of all time, and great play-by-play on radio. But you know, like I say, you know, I'd get the old transistor radio or whatever, and put it under my pillow and listen to those games, and especially the West Coast games, right?
Yeah.
And try to stay up.
Same thing, man.
Stay up. By the end of the second period, that was it. And I'd wake up and to the hiss because the radio would go off, and you know, the hiss of the radio at 3 a.m, and missed the third period. I have to wait till the Citizen comes in the mailbox in the morning to find out you know, if they hung on to win or not. That was that was the way it was in those days. But,
I listened to Dick call Guy Lafleur's first goal with the transistor radio under my pillow.
Yeah, eh?
Because they were in LA. Montreal was in LA.
Yeah.
When he scored. He scored on Gary Edwards. And I think I want to say JC Tremblay got one of the assists. I'm pretty sure. Pretty sure he got one of the assists, JC Tremblay. 71-72, October 23rd, I believe, 1971.
Wow, eh?
Yeah.
You remember his rookie card, and then it's the only time I've ever seen it. I've never seen it again. Like on the back, there was always a little and it just said Guy will be a superstar. And it had, you know, and then the 3 stars around him, eh? Yeah. Never before or after have I seen one that just, you know, that's it. You know, fact's a fact. And I mean, the first 3 years, you know, whoever wrote that probably thought, gee, maybe I jumped the gun a little bit on this.
Yeah.
Then, you know, do you think taking off the helmet had anything to do with it?
Oh, I think in 74, you know, he got married. He signed the contract because his father-in-law, his future father-in-law, and his fiance's father was part owner of the Quebec Nordiques, and they were desperately trying to get him to come to the WHA. And he rebuffed it, and he married her, and he took off the helmet, and then he took off, and just everything came together. I remember that time he picked me up in the helicopter and we flew to Shawville.
Yeah,
he was telling me that he would drive after practice in Montreal. He would drive back to Quebec City to get a haircut. He was so homesick for Quebec City after his years in junior there, and he just felt it just was so tough in Montreal. He was having such a tough time, even though he had 29 goals and 64 points in that first year.
Right.
And yet it was, you know, because Marcel Dion was doing so much more and went second on Detroit. And I couldn't believe that when he told me that. Like, that's not a short drive.
No.
And I know traffic patterns and everything else was a whole lot different than today, but that's not a short drive.
No,
Then you got to
it's
drive
not.
back. And I found that really was indicative of where he was. So
like a lot of Wickenheiser, there were a lot of parallels there, really, with Wickenheiser at the start there, right?
Yeah.
And with Denis Savard taking off like he did, and another French Canadian that outshone them the first few years, and the pressure they built, right?
Yeah.
And Doug just not handling it very well, and even Guy having
Doug got
issues with
screwed
it.
over by Claude Ruel too, though. I mean,
Oh,
terrible.
yeah.
He sat him that first night, Grant. I was at the home opener.
There's
I was
no
at the
way
home opener in '80. You're playing
way.
Chicago and Denis Savard,
Yeah.
who they beat Montreal. Savard's a star. He scores, and your 18-year-old first overall picks in the press box. That's inexcusable. All the good that Claude did, he took over for Toe Blake. It was a Band-Aid thing. I think everybody thought Toe was going to go one more year for sure. Yeah. I never actually put that right to Yvon or anything, but I think everybody thought Toe was going to go, and he wasn't, going to pack it in just yet. They threw in Ruel. He couldn't handle it after 1970 because they hadn't missed a playoff since 1948.
Right.
And he sits down, and Al McNeil comes in. We all know the story. But, yeah, Lafleur, and this is a pretty funny one. See it? I think Lafleur might have been the best player to ever play hungover. Yeah. Well, Guy liked to have a good time. I don't know if he ever played hungover, but his prime, he was unfreaking believable.
Yeah.
He was unbelievable. We are lucky to have seen him play.
Yeah.
We're lucky. That's just the bottom line. We were lucky to see him play because he took over games. He was the best player in the NHL for 6 years and the best player in the world for three or four of those.
Yep.
Maybe if not 6, he was best player in the NHL for minimal 4 to 5 anyway. And he took the torch from Bobby Orr, and then Guy passed it to Wayne Gretzky. That's exactly how it went.
Yeah.
And in that time period between 75 and 80, I think Guy Lafleur was the best player on the planet.
Oh, yeah? You think he was better than Helmut Balderas?
Yeah. I don't think Balderas was fit to carry his jockstrap. and I think Helmut Balderas did a lot of good things in the game, and obviously has got a little anecdotal history himself, right? He's the oldest guy ever to be drafted. But I don't think he was even close. The other guy that people mention a lot is Anders Hedberg, because he was scoring 70 in the WHA. And then him and Nielsen go to the Rangers, and he scores 30-some.
Yeah, yeah.
Come on.
Well,
come on.
I mean,
different league.
Tardif, before he got hit by Jodzio over the head, was the best player in the WHA at that point. He was awesome that year. And then Jodzio cracks him over the head with the stick. And I often wondered if Tardif had stayed with the Habs on that second line, right? Lemaire, Tardif, Cournoyer, your second line.
Yeah.
My goodness, Tardif in his prime, he might have had 50 in the NHL in his prime. He had enough skill, and especially if he'd have played on a line with Lemaire and Cournoyer. I mean, that would have been something else, right? But
he was very gifted offensively, very, very gifted.
He was.
People, Montreal got hit pretty hard too with the WHA, right? Like Frank left after an 80-point season.
Tremblay.
You got
Reggie,
Tremblay, Tardif, Reggie. And you couple that with Dryden sitting out. 73, 74. You don't have the same team. I mean, you're coming off a 10-loss season and a waltz to the Stanley Cup, and all of a sudden, your bunch of your guys are gone, and that's pretty big holes to fill. But But eventually we righted the ship, and a big part of it was Flower, clearly getting her going, man.
Yeah,
But
he
yeah,
was
I
something
think
else.
when he rebuffed his wife's dad, and they got married that summer, and he took the helmet off. He wore the helmet for 3 years, and he took it off, and the legend was really born with the Fleur flying, and 6 straight 50s, 6 straight 100s, 4 cups in a row, and 3
Thank
Art
goodness.
Moss, 2 Hart. Rest is history.
Thank goodness the internet didn't come along in 1970, or he would have gone to Quebec. I'm no doubt about that.
I really think it would have been horrendous on him on social media, especially after his 3rd year. His goal totals went 29, 28, 21, as you know. And man, that was tough sledding, boy, in 73, 74, because the team, the Rangers, took it to them in the playoffs again, and their goals against went from 180 to 240 without Dryden, and none of the boys could carry the mail. And of course the WHA defections, and you put it all together, and it was like, oh boy, what the hell? We just got hit by a truck after 2 Stanley Cups in 3 years. And it just, you wonder how you're going to right this ship. And then things came together.
Larry kind of bloomed, and a few things like that happened, right?
Canes fans are quiet, Wade. Yeah, they sure are. You've been posting that all night, and I don't know if do we normally see many on here, Grant? Do you?
No,
they infiltrate your shows? Or?
Not too many Canes fans. Canes fans. There's been a little bit of a, ever since the Sebastian Aho offer sheet. There's a little bit of, Canes fans and Habs fans haven't been on the best of terms, but let's get back to the series for a little bit here, and then we'll let you go, Liam. But it's only one win, and Don's right. Saying the Stanley Cup, it's sure it's too early, but I can now actually see it. I mean, it doesn't seem like a pipe dream now, and I just I wanted to mention that. But winning, I said it at the start. They had to get a split in Carolina. I truly believe that. Maybe they win 2 now. That's why it's always great when you win that first one, because then maybe you can win 2. And they only have to win 1 of the next 4 to get it to a game 7 again, right? So
well, they got to win.
Or no,
you got to win
1 of
2.
the next 4.
Yeah, you got to win.
It could be 3-2.
Game 7. So
It'll 3-2 to get it to a game 6. I mean, one of the next 4, right? Get it back to Montreal for game 6, and this time not lose the game 6. But I expect Carolina to bounce back. They have to win the next one. We're going to see maybe their best game of the series, maybe next game. Canadiens are going to have to be ready for it. They're not going to go up 4-1 in the first period and get 8 breakaways like they did. As you mentioned to me, Liam, the rust, right? The first period, it was evident that, okay. All of a sudden they're playing a team that was just battle tested and still playing game 7 kind of competitive fire, and they hadn't played at all for 10 days. So it's no wonder 6 of the 7 teams that have swept teams that played that won 7-game series ended up losing, because I think we got a glimpse tonight as to why that it's not necessarily an advantage to have that 10-day rest.
No, No, and I told a story last week, I think, about 1966, right? The Habs 10 days off between semifinal and final, open at home against Detroit and lose the first two games. They lost the first two games, and they went to Detroit. This is Gordie Howe, Alex Delvecchio, Paul Henderson. They had they Bill Gadsby. They had a good club. Roger Crozier won the Calder Trophy the year before. Like they had a really good team.
Yeah.
And they come into the Montreal Forum and win two games. And Beliveau goes to Sam Pollock and says, I need $300. And Sam Pollock, notoriously cheap, 1966, $300, may as well have been $3,000. And he said, what the hell for? He says, just get the cash. I need $300. I'm taking the guys out. He took all the players out. They all had a few beverages. And he said, we just got to get back to basics. Don't worry about it. We're not out of this. We're going to get back in it. We just got to win game 3. We'll right the ship. You know, the story, of course, everyone knows. They win 4 straight and win the series 4-2 and win the Stanley Cup. And it's it just goes to show you, even a team as battles proven, they're defending Stanley Cup champions. You're being led by Jean Beliveau. You've got up-and-coming upstart rookies like Cornway. You've got solid goaltending and Gup Worsley and Charlie Hodge. You've got established defensemen. You've got the Rookie of the Year and Jacques Laperriere. You've got all these things going for you, and you lose the first 2 games on home ice after 10 days off. So, and that, Grant, is 60 years ago to this year. So, the more things change, the more they stay the same. Let's see what we get out of Carolina on Saturday. But textbook win tonight.
Hopefully, Brendan Moore is even cheaper than Sammy Pollock, and he doesn't lend Sebastian Aho $3,000 to take the boys out. And they're down 2-0. After the second game out before they're heading to Montreal. we could only hope.
Canes
all right,
fans
Liam.
brought a knife to a gunfight. That's pretty good too.
Knife to a gunfight. Well, yeah, hey, the Canes fans had a reason to be optimistic. I mean, frig, in the modern era, no team had swept the first two rounds. How often has it happened, Liam? Do you know that teams swept?
No, so you gotta go with everything became best of 7 in 1987.
Right.
So
right,
it's a little bit skewed. Even if you go back to the old days, you've got the 52 Red Wings and the 1960 Montreal Canadiens were the only two since the best of 7 came in 1939 that swept both rounds.
Right. And there was only 2 rounds. There was only 2 rounds back then.
The birth of the Octopus in Detroit was because of them sweeping both rounds. And prior to what would have been the 8th game, what was the 8th game, game 4 against Montreal, the Cusimano brothers threw the Octopus on the ice, and that's when the legend was born. So that actually came out of Detroit winning both series 4 straight. And then Montreal duplicated that in 1960. So,
but series were best of 7s back then, though, right? Like the first round and the second round.
Yeah.
So, like, I know there was a period there, but since 39, there's only been 2 other instances then where the team
I'm actually I want to check the 85 Edmonton Oilers, possibly, and just double check that one. Strikes me as they may have won 4 straight first 2 rounds. Not positive though, Grant. Not positive.
Okay. Yeah. Did the Islanders win 19 straight? But they didn't. But
they won 19 straight series, but which will never be broken.
Yeah,
it's ridiculous.
That's something else, eh?
Yeah.
On that run there.
The 50s Habs and the 70s Habs didn't have an opportunity
as many rounds,
many series. Yeah. But
and there were some best of threes or whatever and best of fives in that
yeah,
era too, right?
yeah,
So
yeah, there was. I mean, they nearly lost a best of 5 to the Pittsburgh Penguins.
to
They were losing
Pittsburgh,
in the third period
I,
in '82. They
I
pulled a rabbit out of their hat there for sure.
yeah. I talked to Rod Shute about that. He was on that Penguins team, and it was just you know, um, Billy Smith threw a stick. Somebody, I think Mike Bullard on a breakaway and threw a stick and whatever. To hear their side of the story, that they had it, they had him. They were down and
They
out,
had him, man.
and
They had him.
they just, for me, Liam, the most entertaining series that I can recall growing up was that Islanders. I think it was a best of 5. Islanders
84.
Rangers.
Yeah,
Islanders Rangers.
yeah.
There, it was just back
Spectacular.
and forth, just nonstop, nonstop. Just go, 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 and
I agree, man.
unbelievable.
That was
Eh?
that was that was so good. That was so good. I was actually working at the Civic Center for Game 5. There was a convention, uh, conservative or liberal, which one? I think it was a conservative convention, and I took a part-time gig just to make a few bucks that night,
Yeah.
and that game was on, and I was supposed to be, doing what I was hired to do.
Hobnobbing. Yeah.
Instead, I was running to spots where I could watch the game, and they should be like in the summer
Yeah.
on these channels, they should be re-showing some
It,
of these games. Like,
it is on YouTube, and I've rewatched it, and it just, it's okay. I wasn't wrong because at the
no,
time I'm just on the edge of my seat. LaRouche was with the Rangers, and it was they weren't supposed to come close to the Islanders that year, but they gave them all they could handle. Like
and they
it
lost to
was,
them every year. I mean, it
yeah,
had to be the height of frustration for the Rangers at that time because they beat the Islanders in '79 on the way to the final that they
right,
lost to Montreal. I was
yeah,
at the game 47 years ago tonight, and then for the next bunch of years, man, the Islanders just walked them. But that's pretty
yeah.
wild stuff. What Wade's writing about Dundon there. If there's any truth to that. I mean,
Cheapest owner,
yeah.
no owner that cheap deserves to win anything.
And then this one, yeah, this one right here. You're
Refuses to
highlighting.
pay for Black Aces to travel with the team and makes team staff check out in the morning, so they have to carry luggage around the city until the game is over to save a few bucks.
That can't be true.
Brings back memories of the Pierre Gauthier era in Montreal, but anyway, yeah, there have been other examples in Pierre Gauthier when he was in Montreal. I've heard some stories, and well, I mean, I was part of it. I was a scout, part-time scout for the Habs at the time, and Liam, the one year I basically worked as a full-time scout and got paid $10,000, and he cut my job because he cut like 4 scouting jobs, and they didn't have a scout in Ontario. Couple of years in those days, and it's just those were the dark part. There were the Ul years, but that was a dark era for the Habs too. Where I'm sorry, you don't. You got the biggest building in the friggin' league and the biggest capacity. It's sold out all the time, and you're cutting corners on meals, on scouts, on when you shouldn't be. You should not be cutting corners. You do not. The Ontario Hockey League is the biggest feeder league in the world for NHL players, and to not have a scout for, I think it was 2 to 3 years that they went without a full-time OHL scout, which Ontario League scout was absolutely ridiculous. But anyway, yeah, Dundon. I'm
Yeah,
not a big Dundon.
Wade's backing it up here, saying
Yeah.
TSN 690
No. Well,
referenced it, and
yeah.
Kings have
Well,
the smallest scouting staff. Do you think that's true too, Grant?
yeah, that could be. I know Montreal probably doesn't anymore. They have added some, obviously, but for a few years there, they really and there was no reason for it, especially with the revenues coming in. It was just it was ridiculous. But well, we saw what kind of when he signed Kotkaniemi to that contract, right?
Yeah.
We saw just kind of the mindset of this guy.
Yeah, that's
like,
pretty petty shit right there.
And I mean, is he, is
Puts
it paying
20
off?
extra bucks on it.
Is he paying off? Is it paying off for him? KK's not even doesn't play the game in the playoffs.
He ate that one large, and
yeah, for sure.
It looks good on him. I had no idea about this frugal approach that he had. Some of this sounds pretty ridiculous, but boy, I don't know, man. Tulsky, their GM. I saw. Well, we saw the footage of him tonight there before the game, getting pictures with the fans and stuff. So yeah. Hey, you know what, man? They had a hell of a year, and they're a hell of a team, and they're not going to go away quietly here. So
no, they won't.
We're gonna have our hands full here, but you get a great start. You get the split minimally, and let's see Saturday night. Can't wait. Cannot wait.
Islanders sweep while the Rangers weep. Yeah. So are you going to Game 3? Do you know yet?
No, I don't know. I'm anticipating tomorrow being the day that I'll get, because over the weekend I think it would be less likely that some things will sort out my way. But I'm cautiously optimistic that one of my forays here will be successful, but I do not have any confirmation for that as of yet.
All right. Okay, Liam. Listen, I'll let you go, and always a pleasure getting you on. Next game is in 2 nights, right?
Yep.
Okay. Well, we'll be texting you, seeing if you can come on. Are you doing a show are you going to Liam's or?
No, we won't be doing the game show. It doesn't look like. We were tentatively scheduled to go to the Prescott Hotel, but it does not look like that's going to happen, unfortunately. So I may be going to Liam's, the place that has my name, Maguire's. Won't know yet, but you and I will chat, and we'll figure it out.
The Prescott, eh? Jeez, I haven't seen a game there in a long time.
Yeah, it's not what it was.
No.
Unfortunately, the ownership, Tony DeCipio sold it there a few years back.
Oh, yeah.
And these
meatball
guys,
sandwich ain't what it
meatball
used
sandwich is still there, still good. Square pizza is still there, still good. But they switched from a Molson bar to Labatt's, and so they reduced your option for quarts, and it's just you can't pay cash in there anymore. You only pay by card, so debit or credit, no cash. And
really,
it's been. They have it's been a revolving door managing the place, and including some American, and it's not saying anything against them as a nationality, but hockey isn't their first priority some nights. And
right.
I've gone in there, wanting to get Montreal on one of the TVs, and it's been a battle. I mean, the last few times it's been okay. But anyway, we were tentatively scheduled to do the show. It would have been great to have a nice little stage area there. We would have had a hell of a night. So, maybe we'll get a chance down the road to get it off there at some point, because it is a good bar still. Been around since 1934, so it's got a lot of history. But legendary. Yeah, I may be going to Liam's. I don't know, but we'll text.
Okay, Liam. Good stuff. Thanks for coming on for so long, and enjoy your birthday, my friend.
I will, pal. We got a fun day planned. Got some golf and with some great buds and a few pints.
Okay. Have a good one.
All right, guys. Good night, everybody. Thanks to anyone who's still on with the comments. Grant, you know how much I love it. These guys are awesome, boy. Everybody that chimes in, it's fantastic stuff. You gotta It's always great.
Okay, my friend. Bye for now.
Night, drum dude. Good night, guys.
Bye. Liam Maguire, folks. Gotta love the stories. He's a legend around these parts. So again, you didn't catch it. The Cunningham's Pub, 3 stars. We had Suzuki and Gooley and Deneau were the choices of Liam. I went Carrier, Slav, and Deneau, and Rick had Dobson, Slav, and Deneau. So there you go. Let's without further ado, we better mention our sponsors here. Here is Next Level, and they Next Level Hockey, specialist in hockey development, trusted by NHL prospects. Whether you're looking to elevate your shooting, skating, stick handling, or overall game, NLH is here to take your game to the next level. Visit them at nextlevelhockey_, and follow their Instagram at nextlevelhockey_ for daily tips, posts, and updates. If you or someone you know have young aspiring hockey players who want to elevate their game, trust Next Level Hockey to guide them forward. Next Level Hockey, it's in the name. And we also have to give a shout out to our buddies at Bonashare Caves. That's bonasharecaves.com. Go to their website. It's $25 for adults, $15 for children to go on a guided tour through the caves. And it's a fantastic, I mean, you can't beat the price, right? These days, $25 for an outing. Eganville, Ontario, an hour from Ottawa, a private family-owned business run by hockey fans. bonasharecaves.com. Check out their website. They're open now till Thanksgiving. A great place in the summer. A hot day, doesn't matter, 35 degrees out there. It's cool in the caves. It's the same temperature all the time. If it's raining, it's dry and cool in the caves. If it's hot, it's dry and cool in the caves. Anyways, Bonashare Caves, check it out. And I'm going to be leaving some of my hockey. I'm going to go. I'm going to go and see Chris sometime over the next week, and take him a bunch of my the book I wrote, Valley Snapshots. I'll be doing a second edition with Larry Robinson in it, but Valley Snapshots. If you go right, admission is $25. This is a well, it's a $20 book, but it's really worth probably a book of this magnitude's usually 35, 40 bucks. I'm going to give him copies, like a couple $100 this summer, and he's going to pass them out for free. So if you book a trip there, pick up one of my hockey books and tell them that you heard about Bonashare Caves on Habscast, and then he'll know that hey, my advertising's actually working here. So he's getting a response for helping me out with this great sponsorship. But Chris is a great guy. La Fontaine, yeah. Well, that was another. He scored, of course, in that. Was it quadruple overtime? And I think it was against. Was it? Well, he was with the Islanders at the time. Was it against Bob Mason and Washington? I believe it was. Yeah. those were good good hockey back then. And apologies for us going a little off on a tangent there, but Liam has so many great stories from the 70s, 60s, 70s, 80s, 50s, and 40s too. Just the world's foremost hockey historian, and you get a glimpse of it every time Liam's on. Um, Off the record, yeah, Liam used to be on off the record all the time. He was the most outside of Toronto, like anyone that lived in the Toronto area, he was the most invited guest on Off the Record with Michael Landsberg. And he had some famous battles with Gene Mack. Yeah, some people might remember. If you get a chance, I don't know um, if it's on YouTube or not, but Off the Record with Liam and Gene Mack, damn close to getting in a scrap with Mac, and of course Liam, at the time probably went about $170, and Gene Mack was a linebacker in the CFL. It weighed about 250, 260, but Liam and the Irish in him there, he wasn't backing down. He wasn't backing down, and Gene was. Mm, let's just say um, he was under the influence at the time when he was doing those shows, and it showed. But Liam, it's classic stuff, and um, kept Landsberg kept inviting them back together to do shows because it just, I mean, it was nothing. It was, you've never seen anything like it. It was must see TV. I don't know if it's up. I don't know if it's on YouTube, but Google Gene Mack, Liam Maguire, OTR, and if it's up there, man, it'll blow your mind. Um, Gabe is a huge Habs fan from Montreal. Oh, okay. Canes must win game 2 or they're dead. There's no way around it. Are you a Canes fan? Car Canes? Yeah, they're behind the 8 ball there. Um, we formally submit a request to forfeit the series unless you stop scoring on breakaways. Signed, Canes Nation. Well, maybe don't give up 10 freaking breakaways, man. It was like, I think you gave up more breakaways in that game than you had in the first 2 rounds. Like, it was uncharacteristic. It was crazy. Hurricanes in the house. Remember you showing up on Eastern Conference losses. Respect. Yeah, I respect a fan of a team that shows up when they lose, unlike the Buffalo guys that would only show up after Buffalo won, and then try to you know whatever troll. Uh, so we got a Cats and Rats. We got a Canes fan and a Florida Panthers fan going back and forth here. Thanks, Rick and Liam. Have a good birthday, Liam. Gabe and Cam are awesome. Right on. Um, all right. Posted link to Liam on OTR where yeah, would go at the guy. He said to him, "No, you're an idiot." Oh, no, he didn't back down. It was it was I've never it's just it's classic. That's where I first saw Liam and loved him ever since. Yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. Not let me share the link in chat to Liam on OTR. Oh no. Okay. No idea who Gabe is. Wait. All right. This is a 3 beer night, guys. What do you think? Too late now. One more, and we'll call it an evening. My got my new laptop up and running. This is the second episode. Uh, it's rock and rolling. We didn't have any likes tonight, did we? That's good stuff. Listen, yeah, one more. I am considering going. I am considering going to Cunningham's pub for Game 5. That'd be next Friday. Cunningham's pub is in St. Anne de Bellevue, so West Island. Just going to gauge over the next few days if there's any interest in people uh, showing up for a watch party. Go and do a pregame show, watch the game with some Habs fans and some, some of you that are on the pod that join the podcast here. If you're in Montreal and you think you might be able to get out to Cunningham's for to watch Game 5, I am seriously considering driving down from Ottawa and doing um, a podcast at Cunningham's. I mean, I haven't. This is just I'm throwing it out there. I mean, I haven't even got he doesn't even know about it necessarily, but I think we had talked that he might be interested in me doing a remote there. So I figured I would first um, bring it up and throw it out here and see if I don't know how many. Yeah, most people I realize aren't necessarily in Montreal, although probably 35 to 40% of our audience each month is in Quebec, and the majority are in Montreal. So I assume there's a few of you listening in there, and hey, if there's uh, oh, you're going to game 2. Yeah, well, I won't be going down to Carolina, but geez, everybody's everybody seems to be at it. I'm in Alberta and Nova Scotia. Would love to come to Montreal. You're in 2 places at once. That's very impressive, Kishore. Um, why don't you split the difference and be in Montreal? I'm in Alberta too. Yeah, Calgary. All right. Long time, first time. Habs fan in Detroit. Appreciate all you do. Hey, thanks for. Don't be shy, folks. If you're listening, don't be shy to. I'm always curious to know where you're from. Like it just a little bit of information. I mean, hey, you know a lot about me, right? I'm in Ottawa, all that. So don't, if you're on here, you've been watching lots of times, watching for the first time, let us know where you're at. I'm always curious. Um, Long time, first time has fan in Detroit. Appreciate all you do. What do you think Galley can bring to the series? Would you bring him in or leave the roster as is? Well, uh, it would be at the expense of Kapanen, I guess, at this point. And anyone that follows me relatively closely knows that I do like Oliver Kapanen. Um, it was nice to see Oliver get a bit more ice time tonight. I think the fact that he can play center and the wing, and the same with Veleno, kind of gives him a little bit of an edge on on Galley at this point, because it looks like Marty not real comfortable with having Kirby play center right now. Um, Kingston, Kingston Frontenacs, yeah. I remember the Kingston Canadiens playing against our Ottawa 67s in some classic series. Mo Robinson, Kenny Linsman, Tony McKegney. They had some pretty good teams and some wicked battles against Bobby Smith and Dougie Wilson and um, Donnie. Oh, okay, man. Uh, I was wondering, it said gas and beer fun. I go, huh? Okay. Uh, gas and beer fun to Montreal. Too bad, Donnie, that you're not done teaching. Uh, or you could hook up with us next Friday in Montreal, but doesn't sound like not tonight. Anyways, there aren't too many Montrealers on here, right? We got him in Nunavut, we got him in Detroit, we got him in Kingston, we got him in Calgary, Alberta, Nova Scotia. Drum Dude, of course, is in Nova Scotia. Yeah, maybe those stats are lying to me, saying 37% of the audience is in Quebec. Love the Blue Nuit reference. Yeah. Hey, got to take National Geographic and Blue Nuit. Oh, I think Playboy was out. Penthouse was out at that time. Hmm. Hustler. Ooh, that was pretty racy stuff. Yeah. I guess he's in a slump. Um, by the way, when I said Nick has a 1 point or 2 point lead over the last 2 years. At one point there, they were tied, and Nick had a 1 point lead when he got that second assist, and they took it away. Then they gave it back to him again. I already had this stat kind of ready. If they wouldn't have given that assist back, because they gave it to Gooley and then they gave it back to Nick, but then Nick was a point ahead of Deneau, and then he added another one. So at one point, mine says, well, Nick's tied with, I was going to ask those guys, which forward is he tied with for most points? And it is surprising that it's Phil Deneau, the old guy that got traded for that they traded for a second round pick to get, who didn't show much friggin' offense. Oh, you heading off, Don? Bon nuit, salut, mon ami. All right. Nice to always rhyme it up there, Don. Thanks, thanks as always for your generosity, my friend. Any thoughts on MPP finally winning a Walter Cup last night? What a career! Um, Pretty cool to win the MVP and the Walter Cup. Hey, what killed Ottawa? And I was rooting for Ottawa, I must admit. Um, I'd be a Sens fan if you know if I hadn't grew up. If the Sens had been around when I was 5 years old, I'd be a Sens fan. But they weren't, and I had to cheer for somebody, and that wasn't going to be the Leafs. My mom was a Leafs fan, and Dad was a Habs fan, and the Habs were better than the Leafs in 1970. And he'd tell me about Jean Beliveau and Henri Richard, and Yvan Cornwallier, and I fell in love with them instantly. And I'm never gonna switch allegiances, um, uh, but I thought it was pretty cool that Montreal played Ottawa in the final, and you know, MPP, MVP, MPP sets up that friggin' tying goal, right? Scores that huge goal in what was a triple overtime, clutch, captain clutch, and but sets up the goal with 2 seconds left to tie it up, and then they win it in overtime. That killed Ottawa right there, and it was pretty cool to see her win the MVP. 67s beat us out this year. Yeah, they did. Wade, um, that series in I think it was '77 was crazy though. Back then, it was called the OHA, not the OHL, and they played to 8 points. So a tie was a tie, and you could end up playing 8 games, and it was pretty crazy. Uh, uh, and that series went right to the wire. And when Kenny Linsman kicked Jeff Geiger between the eyes, and there was a picture the next day on the front page of all the local newspapers. And Linsman got booted the rest of the playoffs, of course, for that. That kind of killed because he was their best player, and that kind of killed Kingston's chances of winning that year. But very memorable series. 67s had like Wilson, Bobby Smith, um, Steve Payne, and anyone that remembers when Minnesota beat out Montreal and ended their 4 years of winning cups. Steve Payne and Bobby Smith were large parts of that Minnesota team. Tim Higgins, who would have been a really good NHLer if he hadn't thrown out his back. Uh, just 67s had great hockey team in those days, but Kingston was damn good too. They had Mike Gillis. It goes on and on. They had a really good team. Kingston is in the middle of Montreal, Toronto, and Ottawa. Lots of diversity here. Yeah, it's true. College town. Been there lots. Remember Kirk Muller playing there. You walk into a bar and it just whoop. His number is retired in Kingston. Yeah. There's a few. It definitely feels like spring in Montreal. Clothing peeling off. Terraces full. Smell of dog poop. Yeah. Smell of skunk. Lot of skunky smell in downtown Montreal. And Habs still in the playoffs going for a cup. Yeah. Apps. You play crib. I've never played crib on online. Used to play crib. More of a kind of a Scrabble guy as far as apps. If there's any apps that I play, I downloaded a New York Times. What's it called? Crossplay. I haven't played yet, but I used to play Words with Friends. Crossplay. Yeah, I got to check that out. If you're into Scrabble, Don, might hit you up for a game sometime. Uh, what do you teach up in Nunavut, Don? Let's have another look here. Uri with 4 shots on net, 2 more goals. Young fella. Nice to see him get 3 points, just like Nick. What's Slav up to now in points this? Let's see if we go to the summary. I'll be able to find out. So Slav scored his 6th goal and 6 assists, 12 points. Okay. That's not too shabby. Susie's up to 12. Laner, we'll have a look at the stats. Canadiens must be climbing the old stat sheet. Nick Suzuki is now tied for second in NHL playoff scoring. You got to love that, eh? Lane Hudson is 9th. Slav is tied for 11th in playoff scoring. I like it. I like it a lot. Cole tied for 15th, 11 points. I like that too. So Alex, 7 goals, is what, 3rd? Tied for 4th in goals. Dorofeev, freaking sniper, man. I had him ranked in the 1st round. Went in the 3rd. Hagel had 6 goals in 7 games. That's pretty impressive. Stanky, 7 goals, 9 games. Wasn't really all that noticeable tonight, was he? Administration. Oh, okay. So you're not a teacher. I have a unique board from here I want to gift you. Okay. It's like a carved out crib board or whatever. When I said Gula becoming Slaven in the pregame, I didn't mean this Slaven. Slaven. Yeah, yeah. Okay, it sounds good, Don. Love Jake Evans, but who do you see at the 2C in the next 3 years? Not Jake Evans. I had a good chat with my good friend at Next Level Hockey, Mike Bonacountry. He suggested that, and I didn't mind. I didn't necessarily disagree with him. Go after Malkin. Go after Malkin in the have him playing with Demi and kind of mentoring him for a couple of years, and signing him as a UFA. Hey, the Canadiens, for the first time in a long time, are going to be real intriguing. They're going to be an intriguing place for free agents to want to sign because, hey, they're cup contenders. They're going to be for a while here, and with that young nucleus, with the crazy fans, everything, the organization being great from top to bottom, great coach to play for, great young talent, close knit bunch. Maybe they can get like a Malkin, convince him to sign here, and then guess what? Maybe that maybe that leads to something like convincing a Sidney Crosby to waive his no move clause or whatever to be traded to Montreal. And perhaps even that ends up, he went one further and said, and then you get Letang to finish his career. So just, it was kind of a cool, just throw that out there. So Letang, Crosby, and Malkin over the next couple of years. With Crosby, it'd be more than a couple of years. It'd be 5 anyway, minimum. I mean, Crosby's the one that I'd really want, but even Malkin to play second line center with Demidov for a couple of years. Yeah, he's a stopgap, but he's a freaking 90 points stopgap, man. There's nobody ready in the system right now. No, I like Kapanen a lot, but um, he's not going to be Evgeny Malkin over the next couple of years. So, uh, what? Hage is not. He's going back to college, and is he going to be a second line center on an NHL playoff team next year at playoffs? I don't know. Kind of hard to ask a kid to come in, and I mean, look at Cappy was one of the top rookies in the league, and I mean, he isn't center in the second line at playoff time. I doubt that Marty would just up and say, "Oh, okay, we're gonna with 3 games of NHL experience, we're gonna put you at second line center in the playoffs." It's unlikely, but not that I think Cage might be capable of doing it, but um, also, hey, you can't have too many centers, right? One can always move to the wing, but you know, what about a second line of Hage, Malkin, Demidov, right? I could live with that. Anyway, it was an interesting conversation I had with Mike today, and you know, uh, Montreal rarely plunges into the UFA pool, in part because players just haven't wanted to. Significant ones haven't really wanted to come here. They used Montreal you know, um, as a pawn, right? Remember Brett Hull, remember Matt Sundin, remember Shanahan, remember, you know, I can list a lot of guys that they might be getting this guy. It's down to them and one other team. And then uh, they used it as leverage to get a better contract from another team. But now the Canadiens, you know, players or UFAs are going to want to come here. Kind of cool watching Jake Allen talking Habs. Yeah. And did you hear what he said about Mike Matheson? Like I'm telling you, and I've said it many times, the players absolutely love Mike Matheson. Like the difference in, you know, what the fans think of Mike Matheson and what players think of him is friggin' night and day difference. Does Mike make the odd mistake? Yeah, he does. Mind you, he plays friggin' 25 minutes a game against everybody on the PK. But um, is he a fantastic skater? Yeah, top top of the league. And I mean, it's so important to have some mobile defensemen back there. And Mike Matheson's one of the elite skaters, elite skating defensemen in the league, and you need that. You need those guys. He uh, he breaks up so many scoring chances, breakouts, potential breakaways with that skating ability. It's you know, yeah, when he's got the puck, sometimes it's a grenade. Yeah, when he's got it in the offensive zone, you get friggin' frustrated with him. But yeah, but wow, hey, um, he kills a lot of rushes, man, with that skating. I like Cappy the best so far too. Where are you at with Hage and Jarosky? Um, well, Jarosky's not going to be a center. There's just no way that he'll play center. I, I'm I've cooled a little bit on Jarosky. Um, I like his I like his ceiling. Like he's got, I think he can be a second line winger if he puts it together. But I don't see him as a first liner. I don't see him as a center, and he might not become an NHL regular. He's got a he's got a low floor and a pretty decent ceiling. And for a second round pick, I mean, you can't ask for much more. There's reasons why he wasn't picked in the first round. I know there's been a lot of independent scouts and journalists and stuff say, "Oh, the steal of last year's draft." But just looking at the numbers on the surface, you would think that. But if you really study him and his play away from the puck, his skating, his competitiveness, there's a lot of work to do there. He might put it all together. He might not. Um, I look at him as a prime trade chip for the club. I think his value is high right now. I think there's teams in the league that perceive him you know, as a really good prospect, and I'm not so certain that's the case. I would be, you know, if the Canadians go all in on a trying to get a bona fide top two center in the off season, and it's possible. Um, because look at how good they are without it. Imagine if they had it. Like, you know, a 80, 100 point scorer playing with Demidov. Like I'd really like that. I think the Canadians would be cup favorites maybe next year if they got that. With all the young defensemen a year older and all I don't see why not. So, uh, but I think Chorosky would be a trade chip. Engstrom would be a good trade chip. Engstrom, Chorosky, you start there. Teams are going to start to listen, right? Uh, they've got a fair bit of value, I think, and then there's also the consideration of Fowler. You know, Again, if you really trying to land the big fish, Zorowski, Fowler, Engstrom are all, would all be in the discussion for me. I'd hold on to H, but those three would be, and maybe even Beck. They've all got value, and some got a lot of value, and they could get you a very important piece to help you really truly contend again going forward here. Mike is an amazing skater. I love him. I'm sick of all the hate he gets. Yeah, I agree with that. I forgot Trevor Linden played for the Habs. Yeah, he was like 28, 29 when they got him, but he just didn't fit in with the Habs for some reason. I didn't mind getting him, but he just didn't prosper on the Habs. Um, Another one of the Reggie Uhl moves that didn't really pan out. He and Nui are two of our best skaters. Never got the hate. Yeah. Stovish, a top 10 goalie in the league. Right now he is, George. Absolutely. Yeah, frig. If you're the starter on a and played every game, you're 6-0 in you know, 7-2 on the road, 6-0 in after losses. Yeah, you're a top 10 starter in the league. Absolutely. Um, Kind of catching me off guard with the redraft question on Dovish. I mean, I'd have to study that entire draft to give you an answer on that. 2020, that was the Gooley draft. I know if you mm, Gooley be top 10 for me if you did a redraft. Um, just in quickly looking, there's some nice neighbors, Perot, Greg, Maverick, Bork, like guys that were picked after 20 that are pretty solid. Paterka, not bad. Evangelista, Faber, of course. Uh, Will Cooley, Lafreniere. But I mean, you know, I'd rank Dovish certainly value a team ahead of a guy like Lafreniere right now. Um, so in looking quickly here, uh, you'd you'd have to rank Doby as a first round guy if you did a redraft towards the end of the first, I'd say 20 to 30 somewhere. Cooley be in there, like I say, as far as later guys, but not a lot. And then in the top 20, like he'd be ahead of Holtz, he'd be ahead of Askarov, at this point. Um, Reichel, Makhmadulin, probably Chinikov, Lapierre, maybe Forster, probably Zeri. He'd be ahead of Barron. Um, so you take what? At least 8 guys out of the top 22. Yeah, he'd be late first, I think, if you did a redraft today. At least late first, maybe higher. Maybe higher. And as far as goalies go, like would he be the first goalie picked? Well, what? Askarov still jury's still out on Askarov, right? Comesso, definitely ahead of Comesso. Blomqvist, yeah. Um, Merlainen, yeah, he's ahead of him. Kelly Klang. Klang likes to hear when it hits the post, right? The clang of the post. That's the only time he's effective. Nico Dawes, obviously better than Nico. Uh, Chechelev, never heard of him. Dylan Garand, no. So, quick answer on Doby is best goalie in his draft class. And the Habs got him in the 5th round. They got Gooley, 16th overall. Should have been top 10. you know, Bob Rock gets a lot of the plaudits for the drafting in the last few years, but this was uh, this was when Marty and Trevor were doing a lot of good work as the top scouts, and they deserve a little more credit for building this team. Hey, appreciate the conversation. Thanks for taking the time, Grant. Cheers from Michigan. Thank you. I appreciate the $20. Haven't got a lot of people contributing tonight, but it's been 20 and 20 or 20 70 from Donnie McCaskill, 20 from JR. I appreciate it. Uh, that's a very generous, may not be a lot of quantity here but the quality, and 10 from Mark as well. So 70, 90, $100 in donations in 5 donations. So that's pretty cool. I really appreciate that, as always. Um, Sounds like you're willing to offload Fowler for the presence. Uh well, again, to qualify, I you know, goalies are things can change, right? And I said it not long ago on this podcast that I think the smart move is like I don't trade Fowler just for anything. It would have to be to get a big fish. That would be the only, like a Crosby or whatever. Like I don't think there's any prospects that would be untouchable, with the possible exception of Reinbacher when it comes to Crosby. Like I'd trade Zarowski, I'd trade Fowler, I'd trade Hage, I'd trade Pickford, I'd trade um, any prospect in the system, with the possible exception of Reinbacher, and I'd even consider Reinbacher, but I I think that there's enough other that you can package it together enough that's going to beat any other team's offer for a it, for a Pittsburgh team that would be smart to rebuild. So crack another beer. I'll ask questions all night. Yeah, don't think it's happening. uh, Sounds like you're willing. Yeah. So hey, it, it would have to be for a big fish. Robert Thomas, Sid Crosby, you know that that ilk, right? I mean, if you could land either one of those guys, yeah, Dovish, you can always find another. There's some good young goalies coming up in the system. You can always get another. Yeah, Dobie looks like he can be a starter. It's fair to say, you know, at this point. So hopefully Dovish and Demidov keep the trend of signing team and cap friendly deals to keep the team together. Yeah, well, I can't see Dobie breaking the bank just yet. That's why you signed them soon, both of them. Oh, now we're getting into the PWHL. Uh, oh yeah, go for it. It's popular. Yeah, they need more teams in the playoffs. They need a longer playoff. Do I see Kapanen staying in? Kapanen in? Yeah, sure. Why would Crosby retire? He's a point per game player. Um, Sidney Crosby, he's got 5 friggin' Premier League seasons left in him, minimum. Comes to Montreal, he'd be the fountain of youth. Crack another beer. Oh, I maybe consider cracking another beer, but I don't know. It is 1:30. Uh, I'd have to be bribed. Do you? Yeah. I saw on Sportsnet tonight, Crosby has no intention of retiring after next season. Um, exactly. No, why would he retire? What's my package for Rob Thomas? I don't know. Start with Jarosky, Engstrom, Hick. Maybe if Fowler has to be part of it, maybe. You know, would Jarosky, Engstrom, and Fowler be too much? Maybe. Something, something along those lines. All right, Wade Wilson. Thank you. As I've said to you before, it's not, you know, every day that a former NFL quarterback comes on and contributes on our podcast. So thank you. Thanks for tuning in and have yourself a pleasant day. Never thought Wade Wilson would retire in Kingston, but you just never know, right? Have a good night, Wade. WW. Double W. Oh, I missed this. Sorry, Derek. My dad once told me he misses Danny Galvin and Dick Irvin, and they were the best play-by-play guys versus what's out now. Hey, bias, you know, time period bias. I mean, we grew up with them, right? The voices of your childhood, the players of your childhood will always be like I was saying the other night with Liam, like you know, as much as I disliked Bobby Orr, he as far as I'm concerned, he's the greatest player of all time. I saw it. I saw it when I was a kid, and he just he was just so dominant. Um, rest up for Saturday. We'll all be listening in. Yeah, yeah. Got about a quarter of a beer left here, guys. So hurry up with the questions. Still got 100. Still got 100 on board here. Hit the like button before when you're leaving. I don't know if we're up over 100. We up over 100 people that have tuned in and liked. Please do like the. Please do like the podcast. That would be doing me a huge favor. We've had 1,600 tune in. That's not bad. Not like Game 7, but hey, it's early in the. It's early. It's early on here. Oh, Peter Mansbridge. How many likes? 79 likes, eh? See, I didn't push it. I have to push it. I don't push it. Seems like it's 5% is the you get 1,600, you got 80 likes. You got 2,000, you got 100 likes. So you get 5% of the people that tune in that press the like button. 1 out of every 20. That always kind of floors me. I guess it's tough to hit the like button, eh? Anyway, I like to try to have 100 likes before the end of the podcast, but seeing that it's 1:30 in the morning, I don't think that's going to be the case tonight. Habs in 4. Oh, my legs are starting to seize up on me here. Habs in 4. No, I wouldn't think. I mean, Donnie McCaskill thinks so, but no, I don't think. Just kidding, Don. Can't see it. Does anyone else think they'll do it in 4? I think that's. I see. I see Carolina bouncing back and winning the next one. Jeez. 6, maybe. Maybe they can end the 6 hex there. Right? We'll see. Paul's still in. Yeah. Paul's still in the Netherlands there. He's coming back Monday. So we had nobody from Montreal watching the podcast tonight. That's hard to believe. I'll ask again after the next one, and if there's no takers, then I won't come down. That's all. Cunningham's Pub, Friday, 5th game. Anybody in? Speak now or forever hold your peace. All right, folks. I think I got caught up in everything. Don't really have much more. I think everything that needs to be said has been said. You've been a great audience, as the comedians say, and I will let you go. I am. I'm trying to get Bryce Pickford on for an interview. Contacted him. We'll see. We'll see if we can't get Bryce to do an interview. That would be pretty cool, I think. And I'll definitely be doing a pregame for the next. I've got I did a Vinny Roar video that I will post at some point. I'll do a scouting report on Vinny Roar at the World Championships because he's looking pretty good. So get another Habs prospect report up. Okay. 2:30. Yeah, it might be time to go to bed. Yeah, Bryce would be a cool interview. I hope I can convince him. I know he's a shy farm boy, but here's hoping I can get him on the podcast. Please hit that like button, folks. Let's get it up over 100. I wake up in the morning and I click on, see if I hit 100 likes. I'm confident, but at the same time, it'd be nice if in the morning we've got 100 plus likes. Okay. Ex-Montrealer now live in Las Vegas. Wow. Few of you in the States, eh? Otherwise I would be celebrating with you guys up there. All right. Well, I'll keep asking. Maybe I might even throw something out there on Twitter and see if there's any. I've got 24,000 followers on Twitter, so maybe that's the better route to go with this. Quite a few of them are Montrealers. So, all right. very good. Thanks everyone. Have yourselves a good night. It was a great night to talk hockey, and I'll be back on later today to talk hockey again. Okay. Ciao for now, everyone. Bye.